Hello, babies! Today, you know what it is. Today, I'm reviewing. Been very much looking forward to this one for a very long time, since it was announced a couple of years ago now. Project Hail Mary. Let's just jump straight into it, shall we? There is such a wonderfully fun and brilliant cast for this film. I'll be honest, I've loved Ryan Gosling since his early days, since The Notebook. The guy is able to pull off effortlessly funny while still hitting those more dramatic scenes perfectly. And he carries this film amazingly, considering it's just him, in a CGI rock alien spider on screen for the majority of the runtime. And Gosling is joined by the likes of Sandra Huller, Milan Vaintrub, James Ortiz, and Ken Leung. The best thing about this cast, though, and the main players throughout the film, is that these are when reading the book, these are what I envisaged the main characters in the books basically looking like. It's just solid casting for a really solid film. The story for this follows our protagonist, Dr. Ryland Grace, as he's sent on a mission to save Earth and its very quickly dying sun. Firstly, the pacing in this film is truly exceptional. For a film where the majority of the action takes place aboard a spaceship with just two characters, one of those characters is completely fake, it's CGI, not real. You would think the pace would feel slow and boring and sluggish, but it really doesn't. And honestly, the character of Ryland Grace is written fantastically in this film. It feels like he was perfectly adapted from the book onto the big screen. I was slightly concerned, though, that the film would take these big grand artistic licenses with the book, but it really doesn't. So I had no need to feel concerned. The film pretty much hits every single major narrative beat from the book, with its own little additions thrown in, which only serves to make the overall film that much better. The best aspect of the entire film for me, though, in my opinion, was the absolutely adorable and wholesome relationship between Grace and Rocky. Their friendship is just written so exceedingly well, and not only is this film a really great science fiction film, it's also a really lovely buddy comedy because of their friendship. And then, when a CGI character like Rocky, one that isn't even real, when a character like that is written so fantastically to the point that when things happen to them within the film, that you really feel for them, you get emotional for them, you root for them, that to me is just really fantastic and brilliant and awesome filmmaking. And then from that wonderfully written friendship comes some wonderful written humour, the type of sweet, innocent, wholesome humour that not only adds an extra layer of warmth to their friendship, but also allows us as an audience to really connect and empathise with these characters a bit more. And honestly, the film has no right having so many lovely, wonderful, emotional moments, again, that come about purely because of Rocky and Grace's friendship. The overall film is just incredibly written, directed, performed, and paced. Now, visually, this film is nothing short of stunning. There are so many big, bold, beautiful shots, specifically when in space. And there are so many scenes that are just so gorgeously colourful, vibrant, and just genuinely lush to look at. The film was such a treat to watch, and I genuinely felt spoiled watching every second of it. And then you had the overall design of Rocky, who looked really great and realistic. And then the amazing designs, in-depth, detailed designs of the Hail Mary and Rocky's ship, even though his was mostly CGI. Honestly, I doth tip my cap to the design team and everyone behind the special effects for such a sumptuous film. This one is directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and honestly, I couldn't think of any other directors that would have done a better job at adapting this book. I have honestly been a very keen fan and consumer of their work since their 21 Jump Street days, and then their incredible work with the Spider-Verse films. Both of them are just so very talented at not only telling stories, tense, thrilling stories with some great humour thrown in, then also blending that with just some really amazing, gorgeous visuals on top. Their work just always feels It's really natural and easy and enjoyable to watch, and it's honestly no different with this film. I also just really appreciate that for the most part they stuck to the book, whilst adding in their own flair and their own style. And then finally, I just have to mention the absolutely incredible score composed by Daniel Pemberton. Again, who is no stranger to really wonderful works of movie art. The score for this film in particular it's big, it's bold, it's orchestral, it's ethereal when it needs to be, perfectly matching the tone of each scene. But then when the film calls for the score to be a bit more pulled back and a bit more reserved, Daniel Pemberton absolutely nails that. He brings that, and that to me, that is raw talent. That's raw talent right there. I've enjoyed his work also since the Spider-Verse films. The soundtrack, the score for those films is just mind-blowing. So I was very excited when I found out that he was providing the score for this film. And there it is. That's Project Hail Mary. I guess my only real tiny issue with the film is that in the book, the two characters that Grace is meant to be going on this mission with, they feel a bit more fleshed out and a bit more realised in the book, whereas in the film, we don't really get that many scenes with them. We don't really get to spend a lot of time with them. So when, spoilers, Grace does give them their space burial, and he's very sad about it and he's very depressed about it. I personally didn't really feel anything towards those characters because they hadn't had the chance to probably be fleshed out in the film. So I just wish the film had given itself maybe 10, 15 minutes of extra runtime just to really fully realise those characters. But as I said, that's a very minor concern in an otherwise just phenomenal film. This film is just epic. It's entertaining, it's big, and it's certainly moving. And because this is one of the bigger releases of the year, I'm going to rate this film out of 10 popcorns, and I'm going to give this film 9. I had to think then what figures I needed to put up. 9 out of 10 popcorns. Call me crazy, but I generally just loved it that much. There we have it, my little babies. That's my very long review for Project Hail Mary. Longer than usual. But yeah, as always, if you've seen the film and you really loved it, let me know what you loved. If you've seen it and you didn't enjoy it as much, wasn't really your cup of tea, you're not really into sci-fi. I'm not really into sci-fi usually, but I really enjoyed this. Let me know what you didn't enjoy. And read the book. If you haven't read the book, definitely give the book a chance. But as always, if you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to give me a little bit of love with a like, little comment, little follow. And until the next one, I love you. Mwah.